Chosen One!
Welcome to The Chosen One. I'm your host, Qui-Gon Din. Joining me with today on the podcast, we're welcoming back Kenny from Zion's Finest. We're going to be talking about all things Adepticon with a little bit of mini extravaganza on there. How you doing, Kenny?
I am awesome, and I'm so glad to be here, John. It's going to be a ton of fun. Thanks for having me on.
Oh yeah, definitely. We're going to be continuing our grievance of the meta discussion because I think the situation has changed. If I remember right, we kind of had that like little bit of a doom gloom at the last part of our meta discussion about a lot's riding on Ministrav, and I think we're in a very good spot with releases.
Yeah, I'm really looking forward to everything that AMG has spoiled so far. I mean, obviously, there's a ton of content that's going to be coming out, which is going to be amazing. I wish we had a slightly better idea as to the timeline for when it all be coming out, but it's obvious that AMG is super invested in the health of the game.
Yeah, if we get Balin and Morgan before Adepticon and we get enough time to test them, I think they're actually
That'd
gonna
be so amazing.
they're gonna actually make a lot more of an impact than I even think. I really think that Morgan Elspeth is a breath of fresh air into Empire, and this all hinges on if those Night Troopers are a 5-cost support.
Yeah.
If they have baseline, if they have the attack stance card of the Aqua Droids, I think Empire's going to be in a really good spot.
Yeah, they seem super, super interesting. I hope that they are as good as we all hope they are, and that's exactly what Empire needs. So.
If they just have that stance card where they kind of got pea shooters at range, but really good in melee, all of a sudden Mando with Morgan Elsbeth is something that could be very scary, just because you got a wound in that list. You have to wound in a very particular way, but you're paid for wounding it because Morgan and it's revenge triggers. I think it's a good spot. I think Balin's Skull. I'm more terrified of Rebel Commandos under Balin's Skull than I am them under Cassian.
Oof. Oh man. Oh, that's gross.
that expertise mechanic. So what's your favorite?
Yeah, it's so cool.
What's your favorite announcement from Ministrav?
Oh, for me, it's definitely Morgan Elsbeth. I mean, she just seems like such a cool, unique figure. I guess actually, out of the things that are spoiled, that we know are spoiled, it's Morgan Elsbeth. I should just say that I think that she has the capacity, kind of like you're saying, like, she can revitalize Empire. I think for me, she's just a really interesting spin on some mechanics that we've seen in the past. That's just like, it's not a whole new thing. It's kind of a combination of a few things. And it just looks like a lot of fun. Like, I think she's going to be a ton of fun to play. She's a cool character in Ahsoka. So I think she's probably what I'm excited for out of the things that we've, got some kind of an idea about.
I think the coolest thing, and I just figured out this kind of a couple days ago when I was looking at her card again, with that coordinate fire strain, you can do that trigger if you trigger the mother's hand or the her manipulating hand. You can get wounds, and it will not trigger most revenge triggers in the game. They're not getting wounded by an opponent's effect. They're getting wounded by the strain. And that means PLC, Kanan, Mando, none of them trigger. And I think that's actually gonna be huge.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, it's a really strong ability. It's a really strong effect to have.
And she doesn't have to spend force for it.
Yeah, that's true. That's a great point. Yeah, her economy ability, I think, is what is interesting everybody a lot. And I think that, I don't know, she's interesting. She's going to be a lot of fun.
Yeah, Enoch's either going to be a really average 4 or a really strong 3.
Yeah, that was kind of my sense. I got a lot of Stormtrooper Sergeant vibes from him, which is fine. I mean, Stormtrooper Sergeant's totally fine.
Oh yeah, I think the box is going to be good. I think out of the Balin box, I think Shin Hati is the biggest wild card. She's either going to be really good or she's going to be held back big time by the fact that you cannot reserve her.
Yeah. Yeah.
but
Agreed. Absolutely agreed.
that's mini strav. Thank you, AMG. You have you definitely got a good event out of the park with that one. I'm liking the new game modes that we got. The new mission looks fun. I love what they did
Yeah.
with priority with that one. I think it's a really good way. It's not going to be as random, and I think
Yeah.
that's going to be powerful. But
Yeah.
we got Adepticon. So today was signups. What all events did you sign up for?
The only events I'm signed up for right now are because I won a regional. I got a day one buy. So I'm signed up for the event on Saturday, and then Sam Sweeten and I are signed up for the team tournament. And I don't have anything to do on Friday, and I think I'll probably just be grinding games.
I'll be playing Friday. I'm in the qualifier. I got the team event, so me and you might actually come across swords. That'll be fun. Uh,
That'll be awesome.
but the team event I'm signed up for. I got the qualifier. If I make it to day 2, I will be playing in the top 64 at Worlds. Other than that, if I don't, nothing going on Saturday. The premier event sold out like really quick.
Oh man.
And then
Yeah.
on Sunday, I am in the Adversaries to Allies. The sneak peek for the Battle of the Sand sold out before I can get into it.
Man, that is so crazy. I mean, I love how popular the AMG events are and how popular the Shatterpoint events obviously are. That's so great. So great for indicating the health of the game.
The team tournament, though, is kind of like going to be the first part of this discussion because I'm not sure if you guys have you done a team tournament where it has this format where you take 2 squads, pair it with your teammate, and you can't repeat the pairings.
No, we have never done it before, and to be totally honest, like we're kind of signing up for it like not on a wing and a prayer, but Sam and I are mostly just doing it so we can have a chance to like play games with people across the community, right? Like in not a super informal setting, but kind of just like a more fun setting. And so like I don't know anything about the format. I mean, we'll see. I am not expecting for us to do super well in that event. Although I know it's going to be a ton of fun to play in.
It's so I won it last year. Me and Plugacoid won the event. We did it with like a weird hodgepodge of like bounty hunters and imperial mix up. Our primaries were Cad Bane, Mando, PLC, and Luminara. Uh,
Yep.
it's a format that is really beneficial to you can take really niche supports and they can shine in this format because oh you try to do full rebels and you want to like well where do your commandos go, where do your base and turret go, well you're gonna if you want to play them both at the same time well you're now no longer gonna have a there's gonna be one game where you don't get to have either of them on the field.
Great
and
point. Ooh, I like that.
and that's where it gets rough. You can't do a
Yeah.
min max. Oh, I'm just gonna play Rebel Commandos and Base and Turret every round. No, if you want to play them both at the same time, there's going to be one round where you have to play something like Bar 2 and Pathfinders or some
Yep.
weird mix, and I think that's huge.
Yeah, yeah. I love formats like that. Like I honestly wish they would do things like that with Premiere, to be totally honest, because I think that it would I mean, I worry about it in terms of it might lead to with the power level of the supports being at, like imbalanced like they are, it might lead to some really unfortunate like everyone plays their worst combos until hoping they can make the cut until they make it to the top where they're playing their best combos or vice versa where you're like I'm just going to play my best support combo first and hope to get my worst combo down that final round. Like there's a lot of interesting things you can do about it. Really, I'm just saying I love the format and I think it's a really cool thing for AMG to do.
I think it's cool for like the team tournament. I don't think I would like it for like the regular premiere for them to do that style where you have to mix and match lists because it would definitely hold tags
Okay.
out of competitive play. Things like Dathomirians,
Great point.
Mandalorians would
Yeah,
have
good point.
trouble. But what I would like to see them do with Premier Showdown is that in Top Cut, I think that your list needs to reset. You need to be able to play your other lists again.
Oh,
Reset
yeah.
reset that, and now you have to play both lists in Top Cut. I think that's where it can get a little bit better in design. You That's the thing. I don't know if our destinies are going to be met for top 64 or if it resets. Is the qualifier a separate event? Because the last year it was the heats were part of World Championship. Well, this one they're specifically calling the Friday event the World Championship qualifier and then the top
Yeah.
64. So I do not know if you're going to have to replay your whole premiere list in top 64.
My expectation is that you will. I think it's like that's my expectation. I don't know that for sure, but um, I'm planning on being required to play both lists, even with the effective buy of day one.
That's so wild. Yeah, it's no, you don't. I thought it was going to be a buy one round, then the like regular tournament. Oh no, you just
No,
skip the qualifier, which makes sense.
it's
You
crazy.
won a GT. It makes sense. I actually think it's a good system, and
Yeah.
that sparks this like big next part is the heat system the better way to go, or is it going to be this big massive 128 player tournament? And I think there's advantages and disadvantages to both. I think the heat system is really cool, but it really forced one of those events to be a Shark Tank compared to the other one. Day
Yeah.
one was specifically a lot more of a Shark Tank because a lot of people wanted to do the team tournament as well.
Yeah, that was absolutely, like, you're 100% correct. It was crazy how competitive that event was. I didn't love that, but also I wasn't playing in it, and so it was kind of like, you know, I guess do what you can do, right? But I like this format more in terms of kind of like the competitive integrity of it. But I think like they're both fine. Like I prefer this, but I can see why they did the last one. It was a cool idea.
If we sell out for Worlds and we get 128 players, the only players that are going to make the top 64 will be the players that go 3-1. There will not be any room for
Yeah.
any two and twos, I think. It's going to be
Yeah.
really tough. It depends on how many people show up for how many of the GT winners are in the top 64 because however many GT winners there are in the top 64 automatically, that much gets subtracted from the available slots. So
Oh, okay.
if there's 20 GT winners, it means there's only going to be like 44 slots available for the top 64. And that's
Yeah.
why I think 3-1 is probably your safe bet. If you go 3-1, you're probably going to make top cut, but 2-2, it gets a little bit tougher.
Yeah, and I'm to be honest, I'm totally fine with that. Like, I think having to go 3-1 in order to make, I guess you're not even making the final cut because the final cut is the top eight. But I'm totally fine with needing to go X and one in order to, quote unquote, make day two cut. Right. I think
That's
I think that is expected, right? I mean, I think it's good that the X and ones are going to make it, right? So I'm not super stressed about that. I think it does mean your margin is really tight, obviously, but that's also good to know. You can't lose two. If you drop two, like you're out, and that's also fine because then you're not like waiting at the end hoping that you're the one on the bubble who's able to make it in. What'll be tough though is that if it's the number of 3-1s is only half of the 3-1s are going to make it because then it gets really weird in terms of, watching people's standings and seeing how people play. And I know AMG doesn't love it when that kind of stuff happens, but like that's what I'd be stressed about.
Yep. And it gets really intense for the top 64. If you lose one round in top 64,
Yeah.
you're out of top 8. The only
You can't.
people, yeah,
Yeah.
the only people making top 8 will be the 8 undefeateds
Man,
in
that's
the top
so
64.
awesome.
Like, but unlike the top cut for, day 2 of the heats, it's not a single elimination tournament. Top 64 is another 4 rounds of Swiss. So you actually are fighting for a place in the world ranking in terms of like you're going to have a finalized position. You're going to know exactly what place you got. And I think that's also really cool. It's not
Yeah.
you got knocked out early on day 2 in the top cut and it's single elimination and then you don't get to play the rest of the day and you're walking around waiting for the event to end. That's kind of what happened at the Heat day 2 when we got into
Mhm.
the breakdown of top 16 of each heat. As soon as you lost, you kind of just were sitting there waiting for whatever to do. You couldn't really join in the side events because you're in the event and all of the like events are all starting at the same time. So
Yeah, I don't. Yeah,
I'm happy that it's like an actual Swiss event. I think
yeah,
they definitely took that into call. I think a lot of people probably let them know about that. And I think that's really cool.
yeah,
So Worlds is going to be
yeah.
interesting.
Agreed.
Then Saturday there
Yep.
is yep, and then Saturday there is the regular Shatterpoint event. That'll be fun to see who wins that because there's going to be a chance that maybe Balin or Morgan are legal for that
Oh my
event, but
gosh.
not legal for Worlds.
Yeah, that'd be so fun. I would love it to be the case if that was true.
That happened with Kit Fisto. Kit Fisto was legal for the Saturday
That's right.
lamb chop to Kit, and that's exactly what happened. Wasn't legal for Worlds, but he was legal for the other events.
Yeah, that's so awesome. I love it.
So, did you get the? Are you getting the goodie bag?
I did not get the goodie bag. I did not get the goodie bag mostly because like I have so little time for hobbies and like all the hobby time that I have kind of goes to Shatterpoint and the prospect of getting a goodie bag of something even if I'm interested in playing it just like I don't have time for it. So I didn't get it. I hope I don't regret that choice although I think I might end up regretting it just a little bit. But no, I did not.
I got it. I was able to. I was just able to squeak by right after I grabbed it. Sold out. So I'm like, I went on it.
Yeah. There you go.
I regretted not getting it last year.
Well
Last
then, there you go. See,
la-
the thing is, oh sorry.
Go for
I was gonna
it.
say the thing is like I haven't been to Adepticon since before it moved to Milwaukee. I mean, the last time we went, I was talking with Dan Wassmer about this. The last time we went was in 2019 to play Imperial Assault, and I think I might have played X-wing too, but we definitely were playing Imperial Assault. And I know they did swag bags back then. Like I think the thing they gave away then was Song of Ice and Fire or something like that, the miniatures game, which is really cool. But like obviously, like I had no interest in playing it, so I decided to hold off, and I hope I don't regret it, John. I hope your bag is super lame.
Well, if it's anything like last year everyone got like the Skaven Tide box, the whole new introduction to the spearhead for Warhammer, and I'm like, that's a killer of a deal, especially for $180 because
That's awesome.
that box itself is like $250.
Holy smokes! All
so
right, well,
so but I'm expecting there's going to be some type of AMG product in there. They always put a lot of stuff in the swag bags. But
for sure.
overall, are you going to be going to the reveals panel for Shatterpoint?
100% be there because I'm not playing in any events that day, so I'll just be kind of like walking around and grinding games. I will absolutely be there.
All the events are going to be over by that time, by
Yeah,
7:30. So I'm going to be there. I'm going to be recording. I'm
awesome.
excited to see what's going to be happening.
Yeah,
And
that'll be fun.
so, how's the testing been going?
I mean, we haven't actually, to be totally honest, like we have played since Zi-Fi, probably played half a dozen games. Like we have just not played nearly at all in the last 2 months, just because the holidays have been a little bit crazy. We've started picking it back up a little bit, but like we just haven't had a ton of time. So really the things that we've been doing is just kind of focusing on getting our reps back with Cassian, with Delta, trying to figure out what's going on in terms of where Obi fits, how we think Obi fits, There's just been a lot of experimentation, I guess you could say, but nothing that's been super serious about getting our nose to the grindstone. And the reason I can say that pretty confidently is I've been running like a lot of Han. That's pretty much all I've been running. Just trying to see how I feel about him with Cassian. So and the short answer is I love Han and I think he is so fun, such a cool figure. I just don't know. I'm not as good as Matt Bronson, obviously, and I don't feel super confident about taking him to Adepticon. Not that I am for sure not going to. I just like it's really tough because that spot is either Han or Kanan or Princess Leia or Mando, and they all add really incredible. I mean, like a really incredible suite, and like they're good for different matchups. So I don't know.
That's
Like
the
that's a short summary of where
that
I've been.
that's the trick with Cassian. His play
Yeah,
style of the list shifts completely based on the secondaries you pick with them and the other primary. We already know,
100%.
the supports all play the same because you're always just running commandos and base and turret with Cassian.
Yep,
But the difference between, Jin Cassian and PLC Cassian is
yeah,
completely
totally.
different. And Jin's another
Yep,
variant to watch
100%.
out for. I think Jin specifically in the mirror match, in the Cassian mirror match, Jin has a huge advantage in terms of force economy. And I think that
So yeah, yeah. Sorry, you go,
oh,
John.
oh, but like I've been testing the Mando variant and I can't figure it out. I don't like it.
I
I've
mean, it's really good, right? Mando's super tanky. He's got diceless, which that's really like the thing is that if you're not running Kanan, then that list doesn't have diceless. It only has a tiebreaker in the form of Ezra, which is good, but like that's kind of scary, right? And so it's nice to have Mando who one is his revenge trigger, while not as good as Kane. Like when Kanan's revenge trigger goes off, it's incredible. Like when he gets his attack. But so many players now know how to play around the wound by attack. And so what's happening is, players are getting around that. That's how Sam beat me at Zi-Fi. Mando generally prevents them from being able to do that, which is really, really good. The thing I was going to say about Jin is that Jin is so good with the force economy. And what that specifically allows her to do is run Callus and have a really good Callus list, right? Like you can run Cassian Jin, Ezra, Callus, Baze and Chirrut, Rebel Commandos. Whereas if you're running Princess Leia, Callus has a harder time justifying his spot. And the reason why is because there are two units he is only giving one reroll to. And you might be like, well, like that's still really good value. And I mean, it's still really good, right? And the value that you're getting elsewhere is good enough. I'm not positive that that's the case, right? And especially like considering other things that could be in that spot. And so that's what's really interesting is that the question that you're trying to think is work through with these Cassian lists is like the interlocking parts of we know what supports we're running, but like what are the secondary, is it more important that we're running a certain primary or important that we're running a certain set of supports, because then those decisions kind of feed into each other. If you're like I really want Callus because I really want that consistency, you should probably be thinking more about Kanan or Jin, right? Maybe Mando, but right. But it's really kind of a fun puzzle that we're working through.
Yeah,
So
the strength of the secondaries is specifically like Mando. I can't stress the strength of Dengar at all. Dengar is nuts when you're playing that setup.
yeah,
He doesn't cost four. Steadfast is always good. Immunity to pin.
so good.
Uh
Oh, so good.
he slaps so hard in melee that he can just like kind of take down seven Scorch.
Yep.
He does a lot of work in that regard. But
Yep.
the weakness of that list is definitely the out of activation movement. If you are
Yep.
not getting wounded and your primaries aren't, moving up the board, you
Yep.
can just get blitzed. And that's kind of the weakness of the Mando variant. The ability to
Great.
get blitzed. And this is going to lead me to my hot take. I think it is a mistake to bring Cassian into Delta, but I also think it is a mistake to bring Delta into Cassian.
Yeah, like give me your thoughts on that because I also don't love either of their matchups, but mostly just because I think it's kind of a crapshoot and just becomes a little bit of a murder fest.
There
But like,
is
what's your thought?
there's too much variance. Uh,
Yeah. Okay.
if Cassian gets a really good bomb struggle one, they Delta can melt. But if Delta opens with boss, it is so hard
Oh
for
yeah,
Cassian to pull it back that
yeah,
there is also order deck problems with both lists. If your supports in these Cassian variants are both bottom decked, you're kind of screwed.
yeah, yeah.
The
No,
support
absolutely.
uh with Delta, if you pull like your one secondary, and especially with the Hunter Delta max up, if you know you're running uh Wrecker and Fixer, if you pull Wrecker first and then you need to like, oh, I don't want him to go in right now, and then you pull Fixer out of just after reserving, Fixer's rough.
Yeah,
Fixer is really strong, but Fixer is kind of a dead activation. You do not want him going up on the midline. He just
yeah,
ruins your economy. Like
yeah. He just dies.
he has a
Yep.
strong kit. He's got good enough defense, but he's a huge target.
Yeah. No, I think that's a great point. I think the variance is an interesting thing to highlight because what it reminds me of is like in the old Iden meta, the thing was that if the player drew Iden first, whoever drew Iden first, or I'll just say had a quote unquote good Iden activation, but typically that meant whoever drew Iden first it was really in the driver's seat in terms of the game, and we found one more often than not. What it feels like we've got with Cassian first boss is it's like they're equally matched. Maybe Cassian might be like a little bit stronger. I'm not like totally positive that's the case. They're both very, very strong. And they both, when they're turning on aggro, like Delta has Cassian beat with out of activation movement. But Cassian has Delta beat with having this awesome revenge trigger, right? Probably Baze and Chirrut are probably better on balance than Seven Scorch. But like, there's lots of interesting questions that are happening. But really, it just kind of becomes okay, now who is going to have that first dynamic activation, right? That's how these aggro matchups are going because that person is going to be able to run the tables. Like when we were at Evergreen, I was playing against Sarah Curl, Josh, and I drew Rangers first. I got into his back line. I had pinned and pushed and disarmed both of his supports turn one, right? First activation of the game. What's he going to do? How is he going to come back from that, right? He is just fighting for board position at that point. And I think, but Delta can do that exact same thing to any other player, right? With Boss goes first, and just absolutely can't. He can take the midline, he can murder things on the back row and get there. So there's just like a lot of like really interesting things happening that are really there could be a lot of variance. Things are kind of outside of your control. So I totally get your sense of,
And that's why I say
hey, this is
I think it is a mistake to actively try to get that matchup on the table.
yeah, yeah,
The only caveat to that is I think that if you're playing Cassian Kanan, you absolutely want to play Hunter Delta into that because you have so much ways of controlling that matchup. But
yep,
in the normal
absolutely,
circumstance, I'm like, that it's a
yeah,
I haven't been able to crack that matchup in terms of what's the game plan other than hope that your order deck doesn't poof, and it's rough, like because it is
yeah,
aggro and aggro, and
yeah,
I think that matchup is harder than any of the matchups we even had in the previous meta. If my in the Iden meta, when Iden got her good opening, I didn't mind so much because I'm playing Mandalorians, because I'm gonna be able to, if they do the massive Iden opening on Mando's side, I'm gonna be able to respond with Mando. If they try to do the massive Iden opening on the armor side, I had Paz Vizsla. I had responses that I could do to those plays. And then if they put all their stuff on the midline, well, now all of a sudden my coverts have plenty of targets to kill. Uh,
yeah,
we don't have that with this meta. There is no them taking the full midline, like unless you're playing Vader Mundi or something. And again, that's not in the Met cards for Delta versus Cassian.
yeah,
Like
yeah,
the matchup is rough. It is
yeah,
close to 50-50. And then I put in the data for on Longshanks for win rates of primaries into rated events with 20 or more players. and
Okay.
Boss drops significantly down in win rate. He drops from a 60% win rate in rated play all the way down to 55.
Oh, I mean, that's a really good win rate still,
It
right?
is,
But that's really interesting.
but it's in that 45 to 55 bell curve.
Sure, sure.
It's not what Cassian's at 61% when you do that stat. And
Oh man, yeah,
so there's just Cassian stuff. I think this
yeah,
is going to be it's going to be his event. I think he's
yeah.
I'm afraid for adversaries and allies because I think it's just going to be a bunch of Cassian lists paired with whatever you want.
Yeah. Yeah, I think that's fair. I think that's totally fair. I think that man, I would love it if AMG would release a patch before the event goes out because I agree with you in that I think my sense is that I think that Cassian is the strongest primary, obviously, and with Baze and Chirp being the strongest support. I think though that like Delta plus Obi has really interesting play into Cassian, right? In terms of like can beat that
Yeah,
list pretty consistently.
I heard you got roundhoused by that list on the Slack.
Yeah. Yeah, it's I mean the thing is that it's because Cassian is aggro, but is not like it is such it's not like aggro like how Iden was aggro. It's more aggro in that Baze and Chirrut can kill things and you've got good bombs. But in my game, I played Matt Bucher, who's a super good player. I shatter pointed my Rangers, who didn't wound Seven Scorch, didn't really like I kind of low rolled a little bit, and he had high defense. But it's also like that's what happens when you run aggro, right? Like sometimes your dice aren't going to be amazing. And in Obi is all about the fact that like your opponent catches the bad end of variance every once in a while, and they snowball that defensive advantage into being like, okay, well now you weren't able to swing a point, now I can take more points, right? And so I think that list, like I think if someone's like, how do I beat Cassian? You run Delta, and then you put Obi with them, and then but the problem there is then they're like, okay, now I'm running Obi and Delta, and you know what murders that list is Delta Hunter, right? And so because Delta Hunter is like, I don't care about your Hunter
Well,
tokens, I'm gonna kill you.
it's not just Delta Hunter. Any Vader one list also
And also Vader One,
can
like absolutely, like
Vader.
yeah,
I'm gonna
Vader,
say Vader one is a sleeper pick. I think Vader one could end up taking all of Worlds because he is kind of this catch-all. He covers so many matchups. The only thing he doesn't like fighting, really, is Cassian Kanan. But when you're
yeah.
going up against Cassian Mando, well, I'm not getting attacked back. I'm just going to keep wounding all your stuff so everything's dead.
I yeah, I don't think that Vader won. Like I wouldn't bet him to win the event, but like I'm not saying you're a crazy person for saying that. Like Vader is he's because he's really good into Obi, and he also can be very good into Delta. And like that is like that's a good place to be in, right? In terms of like your meta matchups. And so yeah, he might not be amazing into Cassie and Kanan. That is like I think kind of a tough list. I mean, Chris Sampson, pure, he ran Iden Vader one against me at Zi-Fi. And it was a very close game, but Chris is also a phenomenally good player. And Vader like murdered supports, which is very good, but he was not as dynamic as I think he could be in these other matchups. So it's really, I mean, I think Vader's awesome, but it's another problem for Obi, right? Like thinking about
Problem
having
for Obi,
to play
problem
that
for
matchup.
Delta. I think
Yeah.
Vader he's something to watch out for. He is
Uh
a
huh.
piece that is in the piece that I think is going to see a lot less play in these lists is Shakti. I do not think this is going to be Shakti's event.
Yes.
But
Ugh.
the
Makes me
secondary
so sad.
the secondary who's winning though right now, in my opinion, who's gotten better with time and is aged like fine wine,
Yeah.
Padawan Snips. She's really good in the current meta. She's really good.
Tell me, give me your thoughts on that because my problem with Snips is that I don't think she's good into Obi. And I just worry about her in terms of she's got deflect, which is awesome. She has the ability to get up the board. She's so fast. But I worry that are you talking about specifically with Vader one or like what's your thought?
Specifically with Vader. Um,
Okay,
I'm
okay,
I'm talking like in the Vader Mundi list.
okay.
You're not gonna see Shakti in that list at all.
Yeah, isn't that crazy?
Yeah, you're gonna see snips. Uh, and it's gonna be either snips with commandos, snips with handmaidens. It's gonna be snips with someone, and the amount of
Yeah.
leverage you can get with her, because it's not about getting the wound. It's about, I'm going to guarantee getting 3 or 4 steps down my tree. I'm going to get all my heals, but jumping and repositioning to other points on elevated points.
Yeah.
Adepticon is notorious for lack of ingresses on their maps, and they have the most cluttered maps. And
Mm,
uh this is why it's part of the reason why Mandalorians did really well last year, is like each map had like
interesting.
2 ingresses, and
Mhm.
it was consistent like that, so the jumps mattered. I think Shakti is, well, powerful. She has a hard time if her jump being at the beginning of her turn and you can't jump later. I think that it holds her back a
Yeah,
lot. That, and then she just gets shot off
yeah.
the board by everything. As for how you're saying, like with the rebels and killing, but they don't like really kill, my next episode, which I'm recording this week with Hunter from Clan of Two, is I'm going over the kill button. Rebels are in a weird
Mm,
spot. They do not have a kill button in the first struggle of the game outside of their
yeah,
Shatterpoint card. When you're looking at
yeah,
Baze and Churret, they might be able to kill a support in one turn if they kind of spike and do their thing, but most of the time outside of Shatterpoint, they're probably not going to kill a 7 Scorch on their activation.
yeah,
If I were to put money on who would be more likely to wound who in a standard activation, my money would be on Delta. The 7 Scorch have the higher chance to spike, but Shatterpoint changes that. And I think that's where Rebels kind of have the weakness is in their struggle one that I've noticed.
mm,
Struggles 2 and 3, Rebels have a huge advantage though. That's where they really start taking control of the board.
yeah. That's a great way to frame that. Like, because that's exactly what I'm thinking. Like, they're not turn one. Obi is setting up a good midline board position that rebels struggle to punch through most of the time, right? If they're not going with like Baze and Chirrut. And so, but the damage adds up, and in rounds 2 and 3, they're just able to like snipe you at range, everyone's gonna die. So that's a really good way to frame it, which is also why sabotage is such a good mission for rebels.
It's the bomb. The bomb is a huge factor in how
Yes.
they are able to compete in the later ends of the game.
Yep.
They lack out of activation movement. Now, PLC does help with the out of activation movement part, but PLC's big weakness is that her revenge triggers in the current meta game are kind of duds. They
Yeah.
kind of don't do anything.
She I mean, she can't. I mean, she can be awesome. Like, and I've had games where she goes off, but like her dice into Delta, you don't expect to do very well, unfortunately.
Any
Like they've got crit mitigation, right?
anything with crit mitigation or steadfast kind of just
Yeah,
goes, or Obi-Wan Kenobi with hunkers, and you just don't
yeah,
care. Like anything
yep,
like that, PLC, her revenge attack is kind of the worst thing about her. You're playing
yeah,
PLC for everything else, not her revenge attack, which is kind of the weird thing. It
yeah,
used to be she's a good piece, but the revenge attack plus Kanan, and you're getting all this movement and stuff.
yeah.
But she's in an interesting spot. I I definitely, my money's on Cassian for the event. It doesn't matter
Oh,
which
for sure.
variant. I think all of the 4 major variants of Cassian, I think each of them have an equal chance of winning. I think Cassian Jin has a equal share to Cassian Mando, Cassian PLC, Cassian Han. I think they all bring enough difference, but they all kind of also
Yeah,
do the same thing.
yeah, yep. I think that's a totally fair assessment.
Like, I don't think there is a best Cassian variant. I think there's just Cassian lists.
Yeah,
And
agreed. I That's exactly where I'm at.
because the more I keep playing, I'm like, oh, one day I think, oh, Mando's like the best pairing, and then I go back and I play it with Jin. I'm like, oh, Jin is doing so much here. Cassian is an enigma in the current game. I'm not as down on the meta as I was now after testing it. I do have a strat for Cassian for Worlds. It's called Never Tell Me the Odds.
Yeah.
uh, that or First Contact, but I don't feel confident enough in playing First Contact to take that to an event. I'm not that much of a masochist.
That's amazing.
But I do think Never Tell Me the Odds can give Cassian a run for his money, especially if you have a list that can have the force economy to really play challenging the odds in an advantageous way, because it can make up for you can just wound and still keep that score parity up even with getting revenge triggers off with that
Yeah,
challenging
that's
the
a great
odds.
point.
And I think
That's a great
that's
point.
I do think it's going to be a fun event though.
Yeah, absolutely. Oh, it's going to be an amazing event. An absolutely amazing event.
So, any cues that I know you're probably playing a Cassian list at Worlds.
Yeah, I'm definitely playing Cassian. I'm playing Cassian and then trying to decide on who. I mean, I just need a test. Like my problem with running Jin is I don't feel like I will have gotten enough reps on her as players who will have been practicing, getting a lot of reps, and will be able to leverage my lack of knowledge to their advantage. So I'm struggling to think about taking Jin, but like I might just grind a bunch of games and then feel fine with them. So I'm definitely taking Cassian. Um, I do not know about my other list. So I'm taking Cassian and then either Jin, Princess Leia, Kanan, Mando, maybe Han if I feel like I've cracked it. But otherwise, I will. I don't know. We'll see about that one. My
Yeah,
other list, I'm honestly just like super in the air about this. Like I've thought about running Delta Hunter just as a way to like have an answer for Obi. Not feel like I'm locked in on that. I've thought about Vader Cam, same for the same reason. Have a list that I can feel good about into Obi, and also have a list I can feel good about kind of into Delta generally. Um, but I don't know. Like I just have not really been able to. I haven't had enough reps in order to feel like anything is better for me there than Cassian. The short answer is I really honestly don't know. I feel like there are some really clear meta leaders, but there is a lot of things that are like I think would be considered B tier, but I think are kind of B tier plus in that they could show up and do really well, and I just like wouldn't know what to do about that, right? Like
there
I think Iden's in this
there are
in that
there are
uh
so many primaries that are above a 50% win rate in rated play right now.
yeah,
And
yeah,
anything that has above a 50% win rate has a chance to win Worlds. It means it can be
yeah,
this all comer list. I'm
yeah.
I'm on the fence if I'm even taking Cassian. Like
Wow,
he's
that's wild.
well, I detest the Cassian mirror match so
For sure.
much.
Absolutely. Oh,
And I
absolutely.
also detest the Delta mirror match. So the
Yeah.
boss is already off my play. I'm not playing boss. Period. Um,
Mhm.
that's but I am playing Seven Scorched.
There you go.
But I'm not playing boss. I refuse to go down that route. I am bringing that Mace Padme list. It is on the confirmed. It's kind of my all comers list. It can play into pretty much. I'm comfortable playing it into everything to the point where I'm
Yeah.
like, I think I'll do all right. I'll make day two at least. And
Yeah.
uh, if I am taking Cassian, it is Jin. I just love Jin
Yeah.
so much. She's one of my favorite pieces to play. But there is
Yeah.
some tough decisions you got to make with Jin and K2SO.
Oh man, yeah.
They are so good, but they are so technical, and they have order deck issues that you got to get someone that moves Jin up the board first to for her to really have a good turn.
Yeah.
And my list, I'm like, I wish could rely on Bodhi, but I'm like, I gotta have Luke there.
Yeah. I think the thing is that with that is that I think that I love I love the way you're approaching the list building with Mace, Padme, in using like seven Scorch, like just making it a seven Scorch machine gun. I think that's a really really cool list, a really really cool idea. I think it kind of presents similar problems for a rebel list, because like Mace is hard to deal with for rebels. Like they don't have their dice list is either Kanan or a tiebreaker in Ezra or Mando if they're running that list, but like otherwise they struggle to like punch through on that. And so I don't know. It's a cool list. It's a really really cool idea. And then I think the problem for K2 with Jin is that K2 is can ruin your opponent's game. Like absolutely. Can just win you a game. But a lot of times like players as they get better, they learn how to play around him. And also it becomes really tough. Like I mean, Delta can gun him down, which is tough for other things, but like Delta can do it. And then he has a super sad panda bear. So that's why I've like kind of pulled off from running K2. And I think Sam has as well, although I'm not totally positive on that.
Well, it's kind of what also is pulling me off from Jin. Jin right now is
Mm,
I like her specifically in the Cassian mirror match. I do not
yeah.
like putting her against Delta. Against Delta, I have learned she just gets gunned off the board and it's not good. She goes down like a sack of potatoes and your supports are dead, she's dead. You're relying on your secondaries, and that's really the weakness of rebels, is that their secondaries are really cool for a toolbox, but they are not all stars. None of the secondaries in Rebels are like Rex. None of them
Yeah.
are like DTE. They are all very specialized toolbox units. I love Ezra. I think Ezra's great. Do I think Ezra
Yeah.
is as impactful on his turn as Captain Rex or DTE? Not even close.
Yeah.
And that's like all of Rebel secondaries are like that for me. Like you got Callus, you got Ezra, you got Chewbacca. They all are very niche in their design, but they don't provide generic synergy, I should say.
Yeah.
And Republic, it's the opposite problem. Republic has one all-star support, and then you got five of first and or ARFs that you generally take. And they
Yeah.
they have so much work that is being put for their secondaries and seven scores.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, I mean, the thing about like rebel secondaries is that they're doing so much not on their turn, right? Ezra's being a tiebreaker, Callus is giving you the rerolls. And so that's a really good point. I think the cool thing about rebels and very thematic is how they fit to like they are like linked together, and the synergy bonus is so strong, right? Like running Kanan and Ezra is so strong. Running Kanan as Ezra and Callus is so strong. But you're totally right in terms of, I mean, they can be some of your weakest activations. Um, like they just can be. Like they're not Rex. They don't have like Rex is really unique in terms of he pays for it in other ways, but like Rex is just able to make such a huge and wide board impact. So yeah, I think that's a really great observation.
Yeah, I think the game's in good state. Now if Empire gets those night troopers, oh boy, do I think Empire's going to be in a very, very interesting spot. Because those night troopers, they're not going to be tough to play, but they are going to be very hard to play against.
That's interesting. I'm gonna have to think. I'm gonna have to think about that. Like I'm not as worried about them in terms of their impact, like in terms of their game warping impact. I hope they are very, very strong, because I feel like Empire has been in the doghouse for, it's been in the doghouse for 6 months or whatever. It's been 7, 8 months.
I think where it's going to get tough is playing against it's going to be tough because the way and the order you have to start wounding stuff. That's
Yeah.
where it's going to get
Great point.
really, really tough because do you
Yeah.
gun down another stormtrooper,
Yeah.
or you know, if Veers gets really interesting when he can guarantee that the night troopers activate first, meaning they
Yeah.
might not activate the rest of the game and they're just on points the whole game, and you have to say tough luck.
Yeah. Yeah. Great point.
So I think it's going to be interesting. I think Balin's going to be a tougher cookie to crack in terms of figuring out the best list for him. Like honestly, my first thought is just play him with the PLC box.
Yeah. Why not? Right? Like that seems super good.
She gives hunkers to everything. Luke gets to keep hunkers. Luke is a force user, so him attacking means Shin Hati gets to do things. But there's so much there because I think he's going to be the next Mando where people just put him in places to figure out what does Balin do with this list. It's like kind of like the old meme. Does it work with Dooku? I think it's going to be does it work with
Yeah.
Balin? That's
Yeah. Oh, that'll be so fun. I hope that's the case.
I'm like I'm excited to see what we get with them. I'm excited for the first one. The reason why I'm actually pretty okay with like the state of the Empire. Empire's getting more than just Morgan Elsbeth. Kylo Ren and Phasma are going to help Empire lists, specifically Stormtrooper lists.
Yeah.
So Empire's getting a lot of stuff in terms of like maybe Veers gets better, maybe Stormtrooper Sergeant starts being kind of a menace. The idea of Phasma getting 4 extra attack dice sounds kind of gross.
Oh man, yeah. Like I the sequel stuff, I should say, like out of the things that we don't really have a ton of information about, like I'm just like the thing I'm most excited about is getting Ray in the game. Like I'm so stoked for that. Um, I would love. I cannot wait to see how they have built her. How like she's been constituted. I guess we don't know the primary secondary support combinations for the spoiled boxes, do we? We know
Uh,
that Han and Chewie, I think the new Han and Chewie are going to be a support, I think is what we
Ha-
know for sure. But
Han and
otherwise, it's
Chewie
not
are the
totally clear to me.
support. Finn is the primary. Based on the order that they
Oh,
revealed on the
okay,
article, Finn is the
yeah,
primary. Secondary is Ray, Jakku, Survivor. So it means I think, and they're
okay,
going to make Jedi Ray down the line, and she'll be a primary. Poe Dameron is a
which will be
primary.
awesome.
Yeah, Poe Dameron is the primary. Zori Bliss is the secondary, and then Resistance fighters are the support. Where it
Okay.
gets interesting is with the Qui-Gon Jinn box. Is
Oh man, yeah,
Panaka going to be a secondary or a primary?
I
And
bet he's a secondary.
I bet you he is a secondary, but it would be kind of cool if he was a primary and we're able to do, some Padme Panaka list building. Um, I'm
That
ex-
would be very cool.
I'm so excited for Obi-Wan Padawan and then for Qui-Gon. We only need one more Obi-Wan in the game now. We need
That's
some
true.
we need old Ben Kenobi now, give us Rebel Obi-Wan. And we have like all of the time frames of Obi-Wan in the game.
Yeah, that'd be so fun. Gosh, that'll be so fun.
But no, do you have any idea for what you're gonna be doing for the team tournament though? Like any strategies or
It's not at this. Yeah, we'll figure it out. But like right now, like honestly, we're so not I shouldn't say we're not taking it seriously, but like it is not the reason we are going, and it is more just like another fun thing about going to Adepticon, right? So we'll talk about it, we'll strategize about it a little bit, but I think more going to be there to be best buds with everybody.
yeah, I've already made we've already made changes to our list. We dropped commandos so hard. Like they just kind of get gunned down
Oh
without
yeah, that's
without
so funny.
Obi-Wan. They just kind of like we're like these guys have really bad
Yeah.
turns. We replaced them with handmaidens. Well, oh,
Oh, that's awesome.
I got a fun hot take for you. Sabe's the worst unit in the Padme box.
Oh, how could you say that? How could you say that?
There are two big problems: are the her order of operations for her tactic and for coordinate fire assault. The coordinate assault, her having to be within range 5 of the attack target, that's rough to set up. The other thing is she needs to go after a primary activates, but before your handmaidens activate.
Yeah. Oh, that makes me so sad to hear you say that. I mean, it's just tough because I feel like Padme, it just has such an interest. She has such a she has a great stat line. She's got all these cool things that are happening on her card, but like she just cannot see play. She cannot see play in the current box. I don't know. I feel like I'd still say that the handmaidens are the worst part of the box.
Oh, have you tried handmaidens under
But
Mundi with the Ahsoka there Invader? They get
I don't think I have.
they get
And
nuts.
we've played. Well, we've played Vader handmaidens, and they can absolutely slap.
They
we have definitely tried that.
they actually kill Seven Scorch and Melee way easier than even Vader Jedi Hunter. It's nuts what they
Oh man,
do. Their
that's amazing.
their damage
I
output's like,
love it.
but I think they're good. Just they have the difference between them and Commandos is they have a much better activation than Commandos, but Commandos have coordinate fire damage.
Mm, yeah,
That's a big difference.
yeah,
And
yep.
but and then we dropped Obi-2 because in the team list, like Obi-2 has to be with paired with Mundi for him to work. And we tried the Vader Obi-1 with other pairings, and oh, it gets rough when you try to put that with Padme. It doesn't work.
Poor guys.
Kept the Padawans, but we've now dropped the Obi-2 bubble for we've made it for more murder.
I love that.
It's Crosshair.
Oh, I love it.
Oh, Crosshair gets fun in Melee. I'm like, oh, if he takes Vader dice, he kind of swings really hard too. This is just going to be good against Delta.
Yeah, that's awesome.
But no, like we got our strat. We want to have either Mace or Vader on the table every round. So that's our strat. We're gonna have
I
fun.
love that. That'll be awesome.
So, I guess to kind of close this out, what would you say? What is your Christmas list for the reveals panel? What do you want to see?
Like in terms of like new stuff, besides like what they've revealed, I mean, it's really tough for me because it's like I wanted sequel trilogy, which we've got. I would love to see like Jedi Ray. That'd be super awesome. I'd really like to see that um be spoiled if they're planning on something like that. But honestly, like it's hard because everything else, like I'd love to see like X-Wing Luke or something like that, right? Like or maybe like Farm Boy Luke, right? And with Old Man Obi. There's a lot of cool things that they could do. But honestly, like I feel like they're getting everything that they are announcing and spoiling is stuff that I'm really excited for. So really what I most want for them is just kind of more firm commitments as to like when are things coming out, right? Like when is the sequel trilogy stuff going to be coming out? When is Balin and I mean assuming it's not Adepticon, like when is Balin and Morgoth going to be released? Because I think right now they're currently slated for Q2, and I feel like we've had too much of a lull in terms of like the last thing that were released. I think wasn't the last release Delta in August.
Yes, the last release was Delta. I do think we are going to probably get Balin either released at Adepticon or a couple weeks before.
Oh,
I would not surprise me if they release him around the same time frame that they released Kiadamundi, which is like at the end of January, first half of February, and I can definitely see that happening. If we get
yeah.
spoilers anytime this month for the rest of those boxes, it's definitely a good hunch that we will get them either mid-February, maybe beginning of March. If that happens, we'll be set for an interesting Adepticon. If not, I'm assuming they'll be around the time of Adepticon at some point. And I think we have
Yeah.
more releases down the line. I think this all the stuff they showed us at Mini Strap, I think that's the first half of the year. I think we're gonna get probably 4 or 5 more boxes after that for the end of the year. And I think they're going to round out probably around the 9 releases mark for the year. That's kind of similar to what we had this past year. We had about 9 releases. I think it's going to be something like that. And if we get 9 releases a year, I think that's going to be a good spot. I just wish that they would space them out a little bit better instead of we get 4 releases back to back to back all within like 3 weeks and then nothing. Space it out so that way it's
That is like exactly where I'm at. Yeah.
Yep, intervals, so that the way the game can constantly see an influx of stuff. As for wish list unit, give me Newt Gunray, OOM9, and Destroyer droids. Release it alongside the Qui-Gon Jinn box. Release it alongside Qui-Gon.
Yeah,
You now have episode 1.
Yeah, that would be fantastic.
Because we need Droidicas. A lot of people are asking for Droidicas. I think Droidicas might be the most requested unit outside of Qui-Gon Jinn.
Yeah, that would be really cool. I mean, if I that reminds me of, do you remember the Jedi sisters who are they are killed in, or I think one of them is killed. Sorry, spoilers. In the Clone Wars, like towards the end, with Admiral Trench. Do you remember that
Mm,
story arc?
yes. Yes.
I would love it to be the case if I would absolutely love it if they were released. I thought they were such a cool design in the game. It'd be if like we're talking about things that like are super kind of out off the wall. I know Droidicas are not off the wall. Everyone talks about them, and they are really cool. But that'd probably be my pick. So
Yeah. Also, give us Admiral Trench. I mean, Legion got him.
yeah, yeah, that'd be freaking awesome.
Trench with some commando droids? Heck yeah. Like, Separatists need
Yeah,
some
that'd be
love.
freaking amazing.
And I think if they release some Separatists alongside Qui-Gon, I think that'd be a little good nudge. Because Separatists are close to being very playable. They are close. They need one more good support. And I think they're going to be in a good spot. Because the Aqua Droids, they're on the level. The Aqua Droids definitely are worth their points. They feel good. It's everything else that's kind of holding them back is, you got to play them with either Magnas or B1s or B2s, and that feels kind of rough. Aqua Droids feel pretty good though.
Yeah, I'm with you there.
But yeah, no, it's gonna be fun. Do you guys got any events going to be going on before Adepticon? I think Adepticon's 71 days away.
Yeah, so we will have some like smaller local events, but no way do we have, I don't have time for anything larger than, I mean, just like a small event. So the short answer is no. We do have like GTs that are going to be scheduled. Like I think we're going to have a GT in June here in Utah, but obviously that'll be after Adepticon. So no is the short answer. Like in terms of major events, we'll definitely just have like smaller Adepticon prep events.
Have you guys figured out a date for the next Sci-Fi Infi yet?
So that's what we think is going to be happening in June, and as soon as it's confirmed, we are going to be announcing it. But we think it's going to be early June, and what it's going to be is instead of we are not going to be doing it at the game store where we did last time. We're actually going to be doing it at a convention, at a local board game convention. So it should be pretty legit, is the hope. But we're waiting to get it confirmed from AMG.
So are you guys going to be doing any hangout at Adepticon?
Oh man, nothing organized. We're not like the hello there guys. I mean, I'm sure that there will be. I mean, we will be hanging out a bunch, but we don't have anything official that's planned. Although you saying that, John, makes me think we should like put together something, just like something very informal. But we would not do anything more than like go to dinner or something together.
Well, the cool thing about where Adepticon is now, right across the street from the convention is this little joint called the Third Street Market. It is like a hangout, and there's like 25 different restaurants. They have all types of food there. They have a beer wall. It's like,
Oh, that's awesome.
it's kind of like the best hangout.
That's awesome.
The
Yeah, we'll definitely be going there.
This has been the Chosen One, a Star Wars Shatterpoint podcast. Go to Adepticon. I'm sure there's some events you can still sign up for. Thank you for watching this episode of The Chosen One. If you'd like to watch the next video, you can watch the one in the link above. And if you want to listen to the podcast, you can listen to the playlist below. Thank you, and have a nice day. Thank you for your support. Please like and subscribe.